What is a mentor? Someone who comes alongside at key times with a listening ear and an encouraging voice. Not a perfect person, just one who will pray, listen, ask good questions, consider biblical truth, and encourage. What is a mentor? A mentor is a confidant, a translator, an experienced one, a coach, a change agent. What is a mentor? Is it you?
Hi, my name is Jim Mitchell and I lead the mentoring team at FamilyLife. And I'm here with Gary Blunier, our lead trainer for mentoring. And Gary, as you train mentors, what's the most common thing that you see?
The first thing that comes to mind is I'm not qualified. In fact, that's what most mentors tell us. But it really doesn't have to be that difficult. We've developed a simple approach to help overcome this barrier, and it's called the place principle.
Right, as a mentor, I'm not a counselor, so I need to find the right place in the mentee's life. And so we say mentors need to know how to pray, listen, ask good questions, consider, and encourage. So let's start with the importance of prayer as a mentor.
I'm so glad we got together. It's been a long time.
It has been, Lynn. I'm glad you called me.
Tell me about the vacation.
Well, we got to go to Florida with our youngest son and his family. So we went to Disney World and Kennedy Space Center. I almost didn't want to come back.
I can imagine.
But I thought about you a couple of times and wondering how things were going. How is your daughter?
Well, it's even worse than it was before. I'm really concerned about her. It just seems like every single rule we've given her, she's been trying to break. Last week, I found cigarettes in her pocket.
Oh, no.
And lately, she's been cutting classes. In fact, Alan has had to try to get off work to try to find her. And she's leaving house with kids that we just don't approve of.
Bad examples.
Well, yeah, and I'm just so afraid she's probably having sex with some of those guys. And it just seems like no matter what we do, it just doesn't help. And I'm really concerned about our younger kids. I mean, they're watching every single move we make and she makes. I'm afraid they're going to follow in her footsteps. I don't know, it just got me so worn out, I just don't know what to do.
Well, have you taken her to the pastor, trying to get him to straighten her out? Oh, Lynn, I am so sorry. I'm afraid I have overstepped my boundaries. Will you forgive me? Mm-hmm. You know, God has this under control, and I know He's dealing with her heart. Wouldn't it be better if we just prayed about it?
I'd like that.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time together and that you have this situation.
Jim, did you feel the change of approach as the conversation moved from fixing to praying? Why is prayer so foundational to mentoring?
Well, the first thing we have to acknowledge is that real heart change comes from God only. I can't change a person. But when I pray, I'm inviting God into that relationship. It really goes from being a two-person conversation to a three-person conversation.
I think Christians often underestimate the power of prayer. Recently in my Bible study, I came across Isaiah 37:22, where it says, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, because you have prayed." And I was struck once again by the power of prayer, about how He desires to listen to me and that He responds to that. Prayer really changes things.
Yeah, it changes me as a mentor as well. When I pray, I'm asking for God's wisdom. James 1:5 says, if I lack wisdom, I can ask of God who gives generously. And so as a mentor, I just need to ask for God's thoughts and God's wisdom.
That's so true. And it takes the focus off of what we can do and fixes our eyes back on Him.
Yeah, it puts me in the right frame of mind as the mentor.
At the same time, the mentee gains strength and encouragement having someone come alongside them in prayer. Romans 8:26 says, "In the same way the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes with us and groans with words we cannot express."
It's interesting, many of our mentors have told us that perhaps the most meaningful thing that their mentees have taken away from those conversations are the prayers that have been offered by the mentors. And it reminds me of a great verse in the Old Testament. It's Exodus 33:11. It says, "Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face, just as a man speaks to his friend. And when Moses returned to the camp from the tent of meeting, his servant Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, would not depart from the tent. It's just a great picture of a young man coming alongside his mentor, Moses, and listening to him pray at the tent of meeting. And as you know, later Joshua would become the leader of the nation of Israel. And I can't help but wonder if maybe those leadership skills were developed in those early conversations that he heard between Moses and God, as Moses spoke to God as a man speaks to his friend. So in prayer, we're training the mentee to have their own intimate conversation with God. And when that mentoring relationship is over, hopefully we've left them with a very important skill.